Minnie Riperton, brought to you by the United States Army Reserve, and I'm Alison Steele, the Nightbird. That's the extraordinary voice of Minnie Riperton. I call her the fabulous Minnie. It is a 5-octave voice, I think. I'm going to ask her right now. She's here in the studio. Minnie, say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Is it a 5-octave voice?
It's a 5 and sometimes a little more.
Oh,
it
boy.
varies with the wind.
Oh, boy. I am probably, you ever heard anybody say, hi, Minnie, I'm your biggest fan. I'm sure you get a lot.
I love it.
I always think I'm your biggest fan. I think I was addicted to Rotary. I keep the albums like stashed away in my private stash just in case somebody shouldn't pinch them because I can't live a week without playing them. And
That's beautiful.
That's what, 6 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Rotary was always mentioned as a Chicago group.
We were a Chicago-based group.
Only group I ever heard of come out of Chicago. Is that true?
No, that's not true. There's several groups, a lot of musicians and artists, but it's very hard to get something together in Chicago.
Why? Why is that?
First of all, there are really no recording studios, no record companies, and an awful lot of talented people.
Yeah.
And it's really rather hard. Rotary Connection was lucky in the sense that we were affiliated with a record company. It wasn't a major label. So
Chess, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Cadet.
Cadet Concept. It's all the same, just subsidiary labels. And it is rather hard living in a place like Chicago. And if you're a musician or a singer, it's just really hard. There are no record companies, no agents, no, you know.
It's amazing in all these years that they wouldn't have got it together, you know. I mean, great music comes out of...
Chicago, the group Chicago.
Yeah, well, we know that, but I'm talking about how many groups come out of New York, London, I mean, you know, so many other places, and even towns like Boston. In the early days, there were so many heavy groups out of Boston, and that's the last place you would think of, Philadelphia, for a heavy music scene. But... I've always wondered about that, and there's so much more that
I've always tried to figure that out myself, because there are an awful lot of very talented people there.
I'm sure there are. If you're an example, I believe that. There's a lot more I want to know about the early days of your career. I want everyone to hear more of your current solo album. Here she is, Minnie Riperton. The fabulous Minnie, and that's not her first, her second solo album. I loved the first one, too. I awaited it with bated breath because I had been wondering for a long time where you were. You know, I knew the group was no longer because I wasn't getting any more albums. I think this one's a little more commercial, don't you?
I think so. The other album, I wanted to, for so long, to do something like that.
Beautiful album.
And, I mean, it was in me to do that, and I'd like to do more things like that.
Yeah.
I just like to do all kinds of musical things. I don't want to just do one set thing and appeal to one type of person.
I think if anybody can do that, you can, you know. Minnie, why did Rotary break up? What happened to the rest of the people? I don't want to belabor them, but before we get to Minnie today, I want to get that out of the way, because these are questions I've been dying to ask you for years.
Rotary Connection, the individuals in the group, we all loved each other very dearly, but the business just strangled it, really, just tore it apart. Could not get anything together. I mean, we were with a record company, and our records were not, we were traveling a lot. I mean, that's how Rotary Connection really got over, by word of mouth. We worked an awful lot, especially East and South and the Midwest. And we'd go to places, and our records were not there in the stores. People wanted to know, how can we find your records? We love you. There was no major tour set up, and we'd certainly played with enough people and knew enough people that were successful in the business to know that these sort of things were happening.
I think you were a little ahead of your time.
That, too.
I really do.
Our music was a little
it was avant-garde at that time, and I think that the business today, that had you come in today, I think it would have worked a lot better. Minnie Riperton, it's a voice that has no peer, and I say that without even saying maybe, Minnie. I mean, there just isn't anybody else in this business that sings the way you do, and I just don't understand. Let me put it, I didn't understand up until this moment why you aren't the biggest thing in music. You know, the #1 recording star. But I think you're probably home-oriented, you have children, you love your kids, and you don't care about it that much, do you?
That's not really true. I mean, I'm full of a lot of energy, and I'm capable of giving my all, and with my family and with my stage work. The only reasons why it hadn't been successful up until now is I was not with the right record company.
Yeah, well, that helps, yeah.
I mean, I'm with a fabulous record company now. I mean, each person, each individual, from the president, the board of directors.
You can say the name.
I'll start with Erwin Siegelstein, Goddard Lieberson, Ron Alexenberg, Don Ellis. They all love me. They all care about me personally.
There's nothing better than Columbia. I mean, they really take care of their artists, yeah.
Absolutely. They're what I held out for.
Yeah. And I bet you're glad you did.
I'm awfully glad. I mean, I love each individual. From all the promotion men that I've met, I mean, they really care. It's a family. They really care about what's happening with their record company. I mean, and that's exactly what I wanted to be involved in.
I'm glad
so it's happening for me. I mean, and in between all that time, I had a chance to be with my family. I had a chance to.
But you're basically a shy person. I mean, you're not one of those star-crazy nuts.
No, I'm not.
I felt that the moment I sat and talked to you. Minnie, I got a word here from Army Reserve, and then we'll talk more, and we'll hear more of Perfect Angel, which is a good title for Minnie. Minnie Riperton. You know, Minnie, I love to say your name. It's just such a pretty, euphonious quality to it. And it fits you.
Thank you. It's my grandmother's name.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's a lovely, lovely name.
My mother's mother.
And funny, Minnie is not, to me, in most cases, it's not a picturesque name. You know, it's not like Elizabeth. You know, you could say you could think of Minnie Mouse, but somehow from the first moment I heard your voice, Minnie was like an exotic name. You know, isn't that funny? And now
That's
any
sweet.
Minnie I'll ever meet will be that way. What else do your ambitions include? Shows?
Oh, I'd
Broadway?
like to do so many things. I'd like to do Broadway things. I have musical ideas of my own that I'd like to, see come alive.
Do you write it all?
Yes, I write music. I wrote 7 of the songs on the album along with my husband.
And he's in the business?
Yes.
What's his name?
His name is Richard Rudolph, and he plays in the band with me. He plays guitar. And
is he on tour with you now?
Yes.
Is that difficult for a husband and wife to work together? Do you carry the problems home, or have you been able to?
I think we're a very rare couple.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel that way because it really shocks people. We get along so well. I mean, there's no room in our lives for any arguments or dissension or anything like that. I mean, we just really enjoy our lives together. We enjoy having our children. We enjoy writing together. We enjoy the talents that we both have, see them come alive and see that people really like them. Our families love us.
I think you'd be hard to argue with. I really
I don't
do.
like arguing.
Sure
I don't like confrontation. And I listen. I have my ideas about things, but I'm willing to listen because I can be wrong about a lot of things.
All right, listen now for a
But
moment.
it's not difficult at all, being together. In fact, it feels really good.
Well, I'm glad. Our guest today has been Minnie Riperton, and this is the Nightbird, Alison Steele, reminding you that it pays to go to meetings in the Army Reserve.
Ever since I was a child.